Welcome, everyone, to the HTL Cup Series playoffs, race 3 of 5 in the round of 16. It's Talladega for the Odie Break 500. This is the midway point in the round of 16. We've had one playoff driver push towards the championship 8. We've also had a spoiler so far in the playoffs. Do we have another spoiler tonight? Or do we see one of the 16 championship hopefuls return to victory lane or potentially get there for the first time here in Alabama? We're going to find out all the answers to those questions here tonight, following the controlled chaos at Watkins Glen a week ago. We come to the certified uncontrollable chaos of Talladega, Alabama for this race, the 18th of the season as a whole. And we're glad you're with us for all of it. Championship implications are all on everyone's minds right now. So let's take a look at the standings going into this race. Josh Soucy winning at Watkins Glen a week ago. Masterclass in fuel saving for both him, Christina Ryan, and the rest of those that finished top 10 without making an extra stop. Josh Soucy punches his ticket into the playoffs. He is not locked in officially. He's got to start the next 3 races, including tonight. Ben Roberts, Pacey Wygent, best of the rest of those that have not yet won a race in the playoffs. And I'm still getting over pneumonia, so bear with me. But Roberts and Wygent, points-wise, feeling pretty comfy. But this is a race where no one's comfortable for too awful long. And that will be very apparent here tonight. In 4th place, you got Tucker Sawyer, who missed out having to make a pit stop at Watkins Glen a week ago. He was looking for his 2nd career win after winning at Watkins Glen last season. Ends up holding 4th. Great points day for him, but great points days do not lock you into the playoffs automatically. And that was what Sawyer was looking for. He has not won an oval yet in his career on ABM broadcasting. Can that change today? Superspeedways typically tend to lend its credence to that. We'll see what he can do. He's got a lot of competition with him, though. Mark Kissenweather, Zach Meredith, Hunter Peach, Patrick Oberstadt, they are on the right side of the top 8 going into this race, but the margins get a lot more tight the further down you go. 4 points the swing between Patrick Oberstadt and Elias Flores. Patrick Oberstadt, phenomenal at plate racing, should excel here, but Ascent Racing also has the numbers game. We'll see if that helps for Elias Flores and Eli Sasek sitting down in 11th place. 3-way tie for 11th. Chad Swatsworth in the 10th spot in between the two. One at Daytona. Has not had an electrifying playoff so far, but it could change here. Willis Racing Club have also been really good on the plate tracks. Bailey Thompson, Josh Arnold, Zach Apperson, Cody Pennell needing to make things happen here at Talladega to have a chance. Good thing for Zach Apperson. Last time we were at Talladega, he won earlier this season. So, if things bode well, could be possible. Apperson got help from Blake Henderson to that race win. So we'll see if that pans out again tonight. Again, Jamestown Motorsports, Unforgiven Motorsports should be strong. Then you have your best of those outside the playoffs: David Smith Jr., Stephen Oberstadt, who was not present tonight, Byron Jones, Lily Sharp, Caitlin Height, who I do not believe is present here tonight. Is present in the 61. I'll have to get that fixed. In the 61 car here tonight. All right, Blowers in the 81, filling in as a substitute for John Matthews, and Brady Smith in 24th place as well. We'll look at information into this race. Last race with planned stage breaks. Lap 25 and lap 55 for the stage breaks there. This racetrack, it is the largest on the calendar as far as ovals are concerned. 2.66 miles. And the corners, 33 degrees of banking. Opened back in 1968. The profile of this racetrack has not changed since it was opened. 12th time it's hosted a race in HTL. 5th time it's been in the playoffs. You've seen not a lot of different winners of this race. Blake Henderson, Chad Swatsworth, Bianca Constantinu, and most recently, Caitlin Height. won here at Talladega last season. Fuel mileage, fuel capacity, about 29 to 31 laps means that you're not really getting to worry about pit stops during the stages, during stages 1 and 2 itself. Stage 3, though, could see green flag pit stops if everything plays out well. This is a race that has been frustrating traditionally over the last couple of editions. The last playoff race last season and the spring race earlier this season. A lot more difficult to build runs, to generate passes. You need a lot of help. It takes a lot of teamwork, working together. Third go around here in Talladega since the most recent aero package change. Open setup race for the first time. Have the teams, have the drivers figured it out a little bit is the important question that I think needs to be asked going into tonight's event. And obviously, upcoming races as well. 2 more races in the round of 16. The Brickyard 400 next week. The Blink Designs 400 on February 2nd to get us towards the Championship 8, which starts in Chicago on February 9th. We're off the day after the Super Bowl, February 16th, and then we'll be in Florida. Same week, the ABN Champ Car World Series opens back up. We will be in Homestead Miami Speedway on Monday, February 23rd, at Homestead for the Florida 400. And the season will end the week after that, beginning of March. That'll be in California Speedway, Fontana. Excited for that. But we're glad you're with us here. We're going to step aside for a quick second so that we don't cough on the microphone here. And we'll be right back. All right, festivities have wrapped up here in the pre-race. The field has been set. Everyone's lined up and ready to go. 34 cars set to take on these hollowed grounds in Talladega, Alabama. So let's go ahead and go over the starting grid here in Talladega for the Odie Break 500. On your front row, Patrick Oberstadt, pole position. We talked about how good he is on these restrictor plate races. He's showing it right now. Pole position for him ahead of Josh Soucy, who locked himself into the Championship 8, provided he starts the next 2 races after tonight. But they're in the front row. Good place to be to get things started. Row 2, Elias Flores. Really good spot. He knows where he needs to be. He's row 2 alongside Richard Odie, title sponsor of this race. Shout out to him. Tonight here, he has a really good starting position. His best qualifying effort in the Cup Series so far. 4th place for the 78 car.
Hang on, we're not going green.
Pacey Wygant, Ross Baxter in row number 3. Pacey Wygant looking for a race win in these playoffs. Ross Baxter, can he play spoiler, or is he going to help his teammates in the playoffs here tonight? We'll find out. Callie Height, one of her best qualifying efforts this season, 7th. Alongside the returning Dustin Hall, who's been ride-sharing that number 1 with our own Christina Ryan. Josh Arnold and Lily Sharp round out your top 10. Josh Arnold needs a good result. He is well outside the top 8, and that's where he needs to be at the end of the round of 16. He's going to get spot to do so starting 9th. Brady Smith, Caitlin Height in row number 6. Caitlin Hyde in the 61, Brady Smith in the 95. Blake Henderson and Dale Markowski in row 7. Markowski and Steven Oberstadt's car driving that good old black throwback to the number 3, Dale Earnhardt. Henderson in a throwback of his own to Dale Jr. Alfred Denny in row number 7, driving his Greg Biffle throwback alongside the number 8, that Jack Daniels number 8. Fantastic looking car, Cody Pennell in 16th position. Row 9, Bobby Blowers driving the 81 in place of John Matthews. He starts alongside Bailey Thompson. Pair of playoff drivers in row 10 to round out your top 20. Zach Apperson and Eli Sasek in row 10. They round out your top 20 there. Byron Jones, Zach Meredith make up row 11 outside the top 20 with a lot of work to do. Teammates, though, easy to hook up that far back. The issue is getting forward in this race. And for Meredith's sake, stage points matter. Davis Mills Jr., can he play spoiler tonight? Chad Swatsworth to his outside in 24th position. They make up row 12. Hunter Peach, Tucker Sawyer, bad qualifying effort for both of them. Two of the lower playoff drivers in qualifying here at Talladega. They're in row 13. Mark Issenweather also disappointing given where his teammates are in the field. He was hoping for a little bit better. He is 27th alongside James Wright, filling in for Chelsea Carter. Bryn Roberts and Olivia Pereira make up row 15. Again, Bryn Roberts, very uncharacteristic. He's a 3-time winner here at Talladega on ABN television. Can he make it for tonight? Angel Santiago in that 16 car alongside KJ Gibney in the 31. They make up row 16. Row 17, Lily Frazier and Jason Scott. And then we get down to row 18, which has nobody in it because we are 34 cars in this field. And it all makes sense. Santiago will start from the pit lane. That is the only change to the starting grid that we see so far. While we are in formation lap, we do have a couple questions in the live chat. What are the requirements to join or try out for the league? Right now, you are, unless you participate in the regular season, you are unable to join for the playoffs. New season signups begin in late March, early April. I appreciate everyone being with us here tonight here in Talladega. Figured I'd reach out and answer that live question while we had a chance to. Appreciate everyone tuning in while I've been sick the last month with pneumonia. It's been a pretty heavy hitter. But we are ready to get this show on the road. 116 laps here tonight in Talladega. As we mentioned, stage breaks, lap 25, lap 55. Patrick Overstadt looking to back up his impressive resume on the plate tracks. Josh Susie would love to go back-to-back. They're your front row tonight, but it's anyone's game in Talladega. The pace car is in, and the long wait
Green flag.
is finally over. The Odie Break 500 is underway. Odie immediately going outside of Josh Susie here, trying to get a third lane going. As we've seen so many times, not going to be successful early on, though there are some contingencies lining up there on that far outside lane. Not enough to be successful. Patrick Overstadt will lead the way and lead lap number 1. Ahead of Elias Flores and Pacey Wygen. as the third lane, with only 4 cars in it, fall to the back. Wygent slides up in front of Josh Arnold. Arnold ducked and dived his way ahead of Josh Soucy, and Wygent gets to the front. A little bit of line manipulation. Oh, the rave. Wygent leads lap 2 over Oberstadt and Flores on the inside lane. Car blinking. 4th in line on the bottom is Callie Height. Josh Arnold led lap number 3. So we've had 3 lap leaders in 3 different laps here in the Odie Break 500. Mr. Odie, title sponsor of this race, tried going for the race lead early. It didn't pan out for him. Got thrown backwards in that 3-wide situation. He's down in 20th place. But early ambition for the 78 off of his best qualifying performance in the Cup Series in his career. Appreciate the ambition from the 78 crew. 3 wide, beginning to slide further back. Not a fun time if you are the 3 of Dale Markowski. Running backwards with his teammate there, that's Cody Pinnell. And the one at Dustin Hall, also falling backwards there. No one happy to sit in that middle lane. A lot of people moving and shaking. Caitlin Height trying to in the 61, filling in for Josh Gaiman there for Valfreya Motorsport. No help at all either. Seems like that outside lane, that third lane up near the wall, is a death sentence at the moment. Arnold and Wygent, your top 2. Arnold, Wygent, and Oberstadt, the top 3 over Flores. And the Callie Height 5th in line on the bottom. Leading the outside lane once again is Josh Soucy. Brady Smith in the top 10 as well. Zach Meredith, Chad Swansworth, Blake Henderson, your top 10 in an ever-changing landscape near the front of the field. Outside lane beginning to suffer more and more. Inside lane pulling forward. Josh Soucy leading the outside lane, now level with Bobby Blowers. Trying to make things happen here. Top 5 all clear. single file at the front. Sasek trying to get to the front of that outer lane, and does so. Help from Blowers. No, sorry, not help from Blowers, help from Sawyer. But not enough help. And they will fall backwards. Two cars off the pace and lost the draft. Jason Scott and Bryn Roberts. They are 7 seconds away from the leaders. They are hoping a caution comes out during the stage. 25 laps, you will go a lap down without support. And they both start at the back of the field, too. You see them, those two cars coming out of the corner, well away. Early contender for most laps led so far, Josh Arnold. Squeaked into the playoffs. But this is a stretch of races where he has been phenomenal. He won the Brickyard 400 last season. That's the next race coming up here next Monday. He would love to win here tonight as well. And not have to worry about repeating at the Brickyard. He's in a good spot right now, but there's no teammate support around him at the moment. Mark Kissenweather in 19th place. Chad Swathworth 31st. Pretty lonely road up there for the 12th car. Wygent, Patrick Oberstadt, Elias Flores, Callie Height, content with where they're at the moment. We'll see if the tune changes, though, as we complete lap number 10. CC still leading the outside lane at the moment. Right now, level with Alfred Denny. And a little trouble. Henderson. And that is the 25 of Henderson. In some pretty big trouble. What happened to the 25? Now he's off the pace pretty dramatically. And he will join Jason Scott and Bryn Roberts. He was sitting firmly in the top 10, and he's someone that needed stage points. A little bit of latency now from the 95 of Brady Smith. Callie Height went outside lane with Alfred Denny. And not successful. The inside lane is the place to be. And your front runners know it. Richard Odie dropped all the way down. He was as low as 27th in the opening laps. He is back into the top 10 in 6th. He is a winner in HTL in the National Series. A short-lived series of the Gen 6 cars. He won at Chicagoland. We know what's possible with the 78. We just haven't seen a lot of it in the Cup Series. Seeing a little bit of that tonight. So right now in between Brady Smith and Bobby Blowers in the top 10. Zach Apperson, your spring Talladega race. Going to finish that. Your spring Talladega race winner, Zach Apperson, sitting in the top 10 as well. Ross Baxter and Byron Jones. The very tail end of the top 10. 3 wide behind them, though, all outside the top 10. Mark Kissenweather trying to get into the top 10, getting around Byron Jones. Hunter Peach on the outside lane, if I'm not mistaken. Whoa, trouble. Car turn, Cali Height.
Yellow flag is out.
And there's the caution those that had dropped off the lead pack had needed. Largely single car. But Cali Height once again the recipient of bad luck. Let's take a look, ABN replay, slow motion. And it looks like it already started here. And it looks like a little bit of latency here. Let's go ahead and back it up. A little bit of latency. You can tell that. It was Josh Susie behind Cali Height, trying to push Hunter Peach. And that is just pure latency. You see where Cali Height's car is inside the 20 of Peach. Phases through the 90 Eli Sasek. That is just pure latency, unfortunately, for Cali Height. And she's had a lot of those issues this season. Gets hip checked off of Tucker Sawyer, and I would not be surprised if nobody got any damage from that at all because of the latency involved in that. Cali Height is the one that bites the bullet early on. 32nd place is where she'll end up as things currently stand. So now the question, do we get pit stops in this opening stanza? The answer to that question is not really, not from the front runners at least. Expect maybe a few in the back to come down pit lane, and that's kind of the case. Pereira from 13th, James Wright, Eli Sasek. Looks like a lot of your later half of the field will come down pit lane. But they'll have to come back down either during the stage break or during stage 2, because you cannot go all the way to lap 55 on the tank of fuel. That much we do know. Your pit window on fuel is 29 to 31 laps. You need to be able to get to 25 before making a pit stop. Front half of the field got that. Rest of the field came down pit lane at your reassurance or to make adjustments. Remember, open setup, you can do that in the HTL Cup Series now, ever since the BFL 500 at Charlotte back in November. Not unfamiliar. Look at some of what we saw back in the spring race earlier this season. Inside lane is the prevalent line at the moment. But shakeups coming here. Because unfortunately, a lot of the drivers that were hugging that inside line will now need to be on the outside lane as they get ready to double up. Comments watching live here on Twitch. Long race, rather chill in the draft and save some fuel. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. Unfortunately, I think everyone's still figuring out, especially with open setup, what all can you do that you couldn't do back in the spring race. A lot of things are different as far as how you handle open setup events. It's a little bit more precarious. Everyone's still very much figuring things out. So, and part of figuring it out is figuring out how quick you can move. How is it easier to move than what it was back in the spring? And I'd argue it's not. It's still very much a case of you need the right people leading the line, and the outside lane minus the opening lap haven't had that. You need the right 2 or 3 cars at the front of the line to really make that outside lane work, and work well. It seemed like you might have had it if you had a combination of Susie, Wygant, and Arnold. Once Wygant and Arnold got to the bottom of the racetrack, Susie had no one to go to. Obviously, trying to work with Hunter Peach and Callie Height there. Callie Height's latency got her spun around. They were trying to make things happen. And unfortunately, no dice. For those new to watching HTL Cup Series playoff action, those in cyan, the light blue, are in the playoffs. Those in the regular blue, not in the playoffs. Pretty straightforward. And the championship 8, those that are in contention for the championship being gold. Pace car pulling down to pit lane. The old cliche rings true on this restart especially. It is a longer wait getting to the restart zone, which is beyond where the start-finish line would be at Daytona.
Green, green, green.
There it is, and you hear the spotters' calls. Green flag flies once again in the OD break 500. And Blake Henderson did have a technical issue on the 25 car. He is now a lap down to try to get that resolved. He is the only car a lap down. So if he can hold on to the stage break, he will get that lap back at the end of stage 1. Car being shuffled to the outside is Apperson, the 4. Your spring Talladega race winner. No help from him. And the inside lane is the place to be. And the top 3 are as they were before the caution. Arnold, Wygant, Oberstadt picked up when each other were laying down. And are back in formation here with 7 to go in stage 1. Here comes Elias Flores. He's got a little bit of help from Mark Kissenweather. And he gets bumped out of the way. Kissenweather moves him to the outside and sends Flores packing. Now it's Kissenweather and Meredith with Lily Frazier, the 71, third in line outside. Apperson, fourth in line outside. He didn't fall far. And that outside lane's got a leader. To the point. From one Militia Racing Club driver to another, Kissenweather leads. Meredith in second. And they will abandon Lily Frazier on the outside lane. But job done. Kissenweather and Meredith, top 2. Cody Pennell slots in on the bottom of the racetrack, I believe in front of Patrick Oberstadt. It was. Your outside lane is now led by Lily Frazier, Zach Apperson, Caitlin Height, and Dale Markowski. That outside lane beginning to move once again. Here goes Frazier for the race lead, and Frazier's got it. Apperson got clear and got to the bottom. Apperson looking for the race lead. Lead changes only count when they get to the start-finish line. So Frazier's got a chance to respond. Kalen Height, your last race winner of the playoff race here at Talladega last season, sits second on the outside lane. Apperson will lead this lap, though. Ahead of Kissenweather, ahead of Meredith. Racing for stage points. A lot of cyan in that top 10. 7 of the top 10 are playoff drivers. Kalen Height trying to go outside. No one bought. No one bought it from Kalen Height. And so for the second time tonight, she will fall backwards. Wygen jumps to the outside. Arnold thinking about it. He doesn't. He stays in the line on the bottom. Everyone trying to read the room. Now he goes outside, top lane, side draft off of Meredith. From above the grandstands, 3 to go in stage 1. Arnold back out front. Outside lane is prevailing at the moment. How long will it stay that way? A little bit of side draft. And Kissenweather drops down below the yellow line. He will give up the top 10. Very unusual there. 2 to go here in Talladega in stage 1. Very unusual there. But Kissenweather dropped out. Arnold dropped down to the inside lane ahead of Apperson. But he's still got room to move up if he wants to block the 0-0. Wygen and Frazier work really well together normally. Amplified here at Talladega. Wygen goes out front. And Frazier goes to the bottom. White flag in stage 1. And here comes Swatsworth. Haven't said his name much in this race, saying it now. He is leading out of turn 2. Frazier in second on the bottom. Middle lane led by Wygen. Outer lane led by Byron Jones, but not top 10 at the moment. Frazier wants a chance, but now it's Militia Racing Club teammates first and second on the bottom. 2 cars that need a lot of points help are going to get it. Through the tri-oval, coming to home. Swatsworth, Arnold, first and second in stage number 1. And we got there under green. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely fantastic. Swatsworth and Arnold doing the teamwork game when it mattered most. First and second in stage number 1. And to go all the way back around. But a great finish to stage 1. Now sets the stage for an equally opportunistic stage 2. And those that stayed out during the stage break will likely come down pit lane this time. Interesting to note, Chad Swansworth was also one of those that came down lap 15 under that first caution for the Cali Heights spin. He is the only driver from that lap 15 pit stop cycle to make it to the top 10. Bryn Roberts close. He was 11th. But those two are the only two that are even close to the top 10. Ross Baxter, 16th. James Wright, 20th. And most of the rest of your drivers that came down pit lane didn't crack the top 20. We're looking at Caitlin Height, 23rd. Dustin Hall, 22nd. Susie, Smeal, Gibney, 25th, 26th, 27th. Callie Height, 28th. Lily Sharp, Jason Scott, Olivia Pereira, Bailey Thompson. All of them had trouble. Blake Henderson, only car a lap down at the moment, should get that lap back here once the leaders come down pit lane as the free pass recipient here at the end of stage 1. Indeed, here he is getting his free pass. Carly in pit lane immediately. Tucker Sawyer missed his pit box. Swansworth, Roberts. A lot of cars taking fuel only on this pit stop. 2-tire stop for Zach Meredith, Cody Pinnell. On a 2-tire stop, fuel only for Josh Susie. Remember, he came down on lap 15 as well. Those that came down on lap 15, fuel only to try to make up some spots. A lot of 4-tire stops for those that did not come down pit lane on that first caution. Tucker Sawyer there will need to come back down pit lane. He missed his pit box. And so he will start at the back of the field for this start of stage 2. Set aside for a quick 30 seconds. Stay tuned here at Talladega. It's the Odie Break 500 stage 1 complete. Stage 2 coming up here in Alabama. A lot of playoff drivers in your top 5 right now as they come across start-finish line. Chad Swansworth, Bryn Roberts, Zach Meredith, Cody Pinnell, and Josh Susie will lead us all to the green flag. All playoff drivers there. Pacey Wygant, 6th, another playoff driver. More cars topping off the fuel. Just out of precaution. As we get ready to go racing here to start stage number 2. Militia Racing Club, 2 of its cars outside the top 8 in points, did what they had to do, did what they were needing to do to help themselves out a little bit here in stage 1. Chad Swass with the stage win. Josh Arnold with second place in the stage, 19 points between the two of them. Pretty good turnout there. Swathworth, remember he pit on lap 15, took fuel only on this most recent stop, while Josh Arnold took 4 tires. So the teammates all broken up once again. But they found each other at the end of stage number 1 just fine. Let's see what they can do in stage 2. Swathworth, Roberts, Meredith, Pinnell, Susie, Wygant, Peach, Smeal, James Wright, and Lily Sharp in your top 10. Had a Callie Hyatt, Patrick Oberstadt, Billy Thompson, Zach Apperson, Elias Flores, your top 15. All 33 cars back on the lead lap as the pace car pulls down the pit lane. Only one caution for an incident. We'll see if it stays that way in stage 2. The long wait is over. The restart is here. We're racing in Talladega once more. Now going to the outside lane voluntarily will drop back. There's Pacey Wygant to the leader of the outside lane, with support from Lily Sharp and Patrick Oberstadt. As it was in stage 1, it'll take some time for the new leaders of that outside lane to work together and build up some of that chemistry. Swathworth leads the way comfortably. The top 4 pretty poised to sit and ride for a little bit. And that is the nature of these 7th generation cup races here at Talladega so far over the last year or so. Inside lane, pretty easy breezy. All the work comes on the outside lane. Well, we have a chance to sort of break down the normal dynamics of a plate race here at Talladega. And really and Daytona. Inside lane, shortest way around. Pretty straightforward. The 2.66 miles, that yellow line is the best place to be. The outside lane, a little bit longer way around, but you have more momentum, you carry more speed, you have a better exit speed out of the corners. Before the most recent updates, it worked out pretty well. And the lanes took advantage of their advantages, right? The inside lane being the shortest way around. Quickest way to the checkered flag is the bottom of the racetrack. But the outer lane, you could pick up 3-4 mile an hour on the outer lane and keep it close. Most recent aero update to this car changed a lot of things, but importantly, it changed how cars interact with clean air when you're on your up, and how it interacts with dirty air. And it increased the amount of drag. When we talk about drag, we talk about slipstream, we talk about draft. Typically, you want as little drag as possible. That's how much resistance to the air you've got. And there's a lot more resistance to the air in this car now than what there was. And that hurts the outside lane. The inside lane, the shortest way around is still the shortest way around. That's an advantage you just don't get rid of. The outer lane no longer has that ease of access to that extra speed because it's fighting the same amount of extra wind resistance, of air resistance. And because you're fighting extra hard to try to get to the same speed you had before, it's no longer easy or as feasible to run the outside lane. In case in point, the Winstone 400 at Daytona. Outside lane, once it rubbered in, was the place to be at the beginning of the year. That 6th generation car hasn't changed since 2021. This 7th generation car continues to evolve. Has evolved every year since 2022. But it has made that outside lane on super speedways harder to come by. Harder at Daytona, harder at Talladega, very difficult at Atlanta. The 7th generation car made things a lot better on road courses and the intermediates, the 1.5 miles. Had an absolutely amazing race at Kentucky last year. Intermediates typically have been pretty spot on, pretty incredible. But when it comes to all-out speed, all-out pace, that air resistance hurts that outside lane more because the outside lane's biggest draw was that it was able to generate more speed, more top end. It takes longer to do that now. And these cars overheat so quickly, you can't push as long. So not only does it take longer to get there, you don't get to spend as much time at full speed either. Not without a lot of help. Additionally, when the outside lane is at its best, when it's outnumbering the inside lane, and you don't see that until the very end of the race. Because that's when desperation sets in. No one's desperate right now. This isn't an elimination race. This is not a do or die race for anybody. A win here would help, but it's not the end of the world. The reason why we say that: 2 more races that are very driver-centric. Indianapolis, the Brickyard 400 next week, next Monday, and then Kansas, the Blink Designs 400. 2 very driver-centric tracks. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be top 8. All 16 drivers in the playoffs right now are in reach of that top 8. No one's in desperation mode just yet. How much will that change when we get to the end of this race, when we get into stage 3? We'll find out. Right now, nobody's super desperate. The outside lane, you're seeing how many more cars it needed to begin to move forward, and it's still struggling. Pacey Wygant is no slouch on these super speedways. He has led that outside lane to the front multiple times. But it takes so much work to do. And he just doesn't have enough help. Two of your better racers at Talladega, Pacey Wygant and Patrick Overstat, your pole sitter, lived in the outside lane, and they couldn't do anything. They got close, but not close enough. That's painful. And when we talk to the drivers, when we talk to podium finishers here tonight, they're going to talk about how difficult this race is now. Just like they talked about it when in the spring race, when Zach Albertson won. We'll talk about how much more difficult it is to make passes, how much more difficult it is to make runs, to make lines work. Great play racers are the ones that manage to work around it. And Wygen's got a lot of work to do. Coming to 15 to go in stage 2. People cheering on Outlaw Esports. Starting one of Willie Frazier. In the 81 of Bobby Blowers filling in for John Matthews. Frazier in 17th at the moment. Blowers in 32nd. They are just riding at the moment. We have a technical failure, Cody Pinnell. And he is a playoff driver that now needs a good result at Indianapolis and Kansas. He was 16th in points going into tonight. And a DNF here at Talladega. It is time to hit the panic button for the number 8 team. His teammate, Bren Roberts, no such panic. Second place at the moment. Patrick Overstat, top 10 as well. Still in the outside lane behind Pacey Wyja. And what you don't like seeing is that 4-car breakaway on the outside, that very far outside on the back. That takes away from the middle lane. People trying to do what we've not seen make work in about a year, and that's make the very far outside lane, make the 3 wide work on the outside. Has not worked here at Talladega for over a year in this car. People trying and figuring out what they can and can't do, open setups. It's pretty clear that it's not different enough to make that work. Swathworth leads the way, continues to lead comfortably. Meredith, Susie, Wygent, your top 5. Pacey Wygent breaking into the top 5. Working on Davis Miller Jr. at the moment. Try to crawl the way forward. Got to the door of Susie. Can they get closer? It is Wygent, Overstat, and Callie Height, and Eli Sasek, your top 4 outer lane. Strange bedfellows on the outer lane. Not typically renowned for working together. But you don't have much of a choice right now. For a moment, Callie Height had an easy out, didn't take it. Could have slotted in front of Billy Thompson in the inside lane. Not the case now. Billy Thompson and Zach Apperson on the way up. Coming to 10 to go in stage 2. High above. Good old blimp cam. Give you a good idea of sort of what they're working with here on both the inside and outer lanes. A lot of side drafting there, and you see how quickly they broke apart on the outside lane there. Overstat lost complete touch with Pacey Wygent. Oh, that's almost trouble. Almost huge trouble, and there's trouble. And for the second time, it is Callie Height. And again, it's latency. We saw her phase in to Patrick Oberstadt. Once again, latency. Biting the bullet of the 87. And once again, Callie Height down in the 32nd position. And here, take a quick look. We've watched it in real time. Callie recognized it. Eli tried, but couldn't check up enough. And the 87, once again, on the back straightaway, goes for a bit of a ride. Yeah, it will be in 30th on this caution here. And the drivers in this situation have a little bit more interesting a question to ask themselves: what does your strategy look like from here? It was pretty straightforward from stage 1 to stage 2. You need to stop to at least get fuel during the first stage break. The question, not so simple to ask or answer, looking at stage 3. Who comes in, who stays out? Very important questions to ask. Bren Roberts comes in. He is the only one from the top 10 to do so. Patrick Oberstadt also comes in. But up until you get to about 20th, not a lot of people bit there. So again, about half the field in total come down pit lane during the stage. And we're probably going to see a similar situation to what we saw at the end of stage 1, where those cars coming down pit lane now will do fuel only on the stage break stop. At the end, looking at lap 56. Stage 2 ends on lap 55. Not a lot of time to close that gap. Remember, those that came down pit lane in stage 1, Chad Swass was the only driver to make it to the top 10, and he won the stage. Some tire warming from Lloyd Sharp. Swassworth and Meredith, first and second. Josh Susie, third. Davis Mule Jr., teammates there. Third and fourth, Hunter Peach and Willie Sharp, actually all 4 NFG Motorsport cars. Third through 6th. Dangerous place to be if you're around those cars. Those 4 will try to line up pretty quick. We're going to try to work together here. Seems like it's very possible to try to piecemeal that together. And if you're Swass with a Meredith, you have to be coherent of what's behind you. Thompson and Apperson, teammates there for Tombstone Racing. They're 7th and 8th. Wygen and Sasek, they'll be lined up together. 9th and 11th, they'll be on the inside. Rows 5 and 6. Gonna be spicy. For those watching live on Twitch, when we do get to the stage break, there will be a prolonged 3-minute ad break on Twitch, just so we can try to clear out all the automatic ads. We figure that kind of works out the best. That way you don't have to worry about as many ads during the final stage. So again, just kind of keep in mind there is a 3-minute ad break. Please stick around and support us. That way we can try to make sure we get the third stage under commercial-free coverage. If you don't want to worry about ads at all, always feel free to subscribe. If you have Prime, it's free. All your support means a lot to us. We've been very appreciative over the last 5 years. Now in year 6, doing esports coverage. Been a long journey. I did want to kind of bring that up, that little disclaimer. When we get to the stage break, there will be a 3-minute ad break for those watching live on Twitch. Won't be up present on YouTube for those watching on demand. But stick around so we can try to get this race, at least stage 3, under commercial-free coverage. Meredith Swatsworth, with a lot of work out of him. It is a mass of NFG Motorsports cars in rows 2 and 3. Keep your head on a swivel. This is going to be interesting. The pace car pulls off towards pit lane. The long crawl towards the restart zone. Beyond the middle of the trioval. The spotters watching and waiting.
Green, green, green.
There's the call, and we're back racing. 6 to go in stage 2. Not a lot of teamwork there from NFG. They stayed 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. I was expecting a little more teamwork there. Smeal and Sharp on the outside lane, going for the race lead. Susie and Peach stay on the bottom of the racetrack. Very interesting, because Smeal's not a playoff driver. Sharp is. But both Sharp and Peach need a lot of points. They need a lot of points help. So I'm very curious about that decision not to play the team game. Inside lane, though, not a lot of help. Numbers game for the first time tonight in the outside lane's favor. And it shows. And NFG gets all 4 cars to the inside lane. Teammates now at the front once again. This time it's Apperson and Henderson, who duoed Apperson to the race win earlier this season. Four to go. And Apperson led that lap. The Fords are cooking. Ford versus Toyota. Your best Chevrolet's 14th. And Tombstone gets to the bottom of the racetrack, cuts off David Smith Jr., who's going to have some choice words about that. But Apperson and Henderson both desperately need stage points. Henderson especially so. He was a lap down at the end of stage 1. 3 to go. In the outside lane, finally beginning to wither away. Eli Sasek at the helm of that outer lane. And here comes NFG. One of them have a Swatsworth behind David Smith Jr. They're trying to get back to the front. Sharp stay on the bottom of the racetrack. Hedge your bets. Smeel leads, 2 to go. And he gets to the bottom of the racetrack. I understand why. I would have stayed up a little bit longer. Because what you've done now is you put Swatsworth under control of the outside lane with Zach Meredith. And those two have been electric tonight. And they're showing it right now. And Meredith knows exactly where to put the bumper of that car. Puts it on the right side. On the passenger side, just offsets it just a little bit. And that is a sweet spot. One to go in stage 2. James Wright, far out of lane. And far out of depth. He will drop out of the top 10 like a stone. Davis Miller Jr. not in the Drivers' Championship. Looking to play spoiler. Henderson and Apperson, they're not going to complain about a good points day if they can. It's 2-on-1 if they want to go for it. It'll be 2-on-1. Do they make that lunge? Yes, they do. Hard bump. But Apperson's got stage 2. Smeel second, Henderson third. Sharp gave her teammate a hellacious bump to stop the bleeding, and it worked. NFG and Tombstone split the top 4. And again, we get to the end of the stage under green. That's one of the flip sides about the new aero package with this Gen 7 car. Traditionally, before we got the update, we didn't get to go to green flag on the end of the stage. We have done that in both the earlier race this season that Apperson won, and both stages tonight. So I like to call that a little bit of a success. You see the giant crawl as they were for the pace car. And with that, for those watching live, we'll go ahead and take that 3-minute break we talked about earlier to try to get that third stage commercial free for those watching live on Twitch. Also gives me a chance to catch my breath and rest my throat a little bit. My vocal cords are kind of shot with the pneumonia, so stay tuned, stay with us. You're not going to miss a thing. Welcome back, everyone. Stage 3 about to begin here at the Odie Break 500 here in Talladega. Blake Henderson will lead the field to green. Fuel only stop for him, I do believe. I was mistaken. 2-tire stop for him. He will line up on the inside in front of his teammate, Zach Apperson. Ben Roberts to his outside on the front row. David Smoot Jr. alongside Apperson in row 2. Billy Thompson, row 3. So 3 Tombstone cars in the inside lane there at the front of the field. Really sharp to Thompson's outside in that third row. Josh Soucy, Sad Swatsworth in row 4. Hunter Peach and Zach Meredith, row 5. Only one retirement so far in this race, and that's Cody Pennell on lap 38. 32 cars still running, all 32 on the lead lap. We've had 2 cautions for an incident, both of them latency connected with Callie Height, who is still running at the moment as well. The 87 is 19th. Stage points have all been collected. It is time for the race points and a chance to punch your ticket into the Championship 8. A lot of drivers hungry for points, hungry for race wins. Pace car is in. The green flag flies. Stage 3 is underway in Talladega. Tombstone, 1, 2, 3. Start lap 60. When you get a decent amount of team cars up there, it makes it very difficult. Tombstone's not the only team with a lot of team cars up in that top 10. NFG Motorsports still have 3 of its cars top 10. Soucy, Smeal, and Sharp all in that top 10. Militia Racing Club, it's got 2 of its cars in the top 10 as well. Swatsworth and Arnold, who worked well in stage 1. It is a madhouse further back. Kissenmother trying to lead the outside lane 3 wide. Further back out of the top 10. And only 3 cars in that group does not bode well, especially with one of those cars being Callie Height and the issues she's had today. Not the most reliable source of support here at Talladega so far. Comes Zach Meredith. 2-time race winner this season. He gets clear of Henderson and gets to the front. Meredith leads lap 61. Ben Roberts now leads the outside lane. Support from David Smoot Jr. Took him a little bit to reconnect there because Willie Sharp was not on it. Willie Sharp had sat back a little bit because she was 4th in line when Meredith was leading the way. And now the teammates for NFG need to work together big time. They are now the top 3 in that middle lane, and that dies out quickly. Smeal gets to the bottom of the racetrack. And just like that, the middle and the outside lanes abandoned at the front of the field. Meredith leads the way. Henderson and Apperson will be stationary for the moment. So will Thompson in the 27. But they are going to work together big time to stay where they're at. They want to stay top 5. And they want to stay like this if they can. Because if we do go green, there will be green flag pit stops. We will see green flag pit stops in this stage. Green flag pit stops will happen around or before lap 90. I'm thinking the window is about 87 and 90 is the window for the pit stops, depending on how much you're saving. If you're at the front of the field, you can't save, so you're probably going to be one of the first ones down. And make no mistake about it, when you come down for green flag pit stops, it is fuel only. It is fuel only on those pit stops. So you got to hit your marks. Best way to do that, though, be at the front of the field. And that's what they're trying to do right now. The first 2 stages, it was all about posturing for the stage points, for the top 10. You either had it or you didn't. Now it's a little bit more important. Now you're posturing and preparing for green flag pit stops, where you want to be for those pit stops. And track position matters a lot, because that's time. How much time are you going to lose? The further forward you are, the better your window for if you make a mistake. Out of lane trying to move. That's Tucker Sawyer being supported by Alfred Denny. Alfred Denny, one of the 2 drivers with the longest winless streaks. No career wins in the Cup Series for Alfred Denny. Same goes for Gary Donaldson, who is not present here tonight. I don't believe. I could be wrong on that. Give me 1 second to double check. Correct. He is not here tonight. The 22 is not present for this race. Denny, remarkably, pretty good for these short super speedways. He's won a lot of exhibitions on the plate tracks. His lone podium this season, a 2nd place at Pocono earlier this season. Side by side, Meredith did lead that lap. Sawyer's going to get the lead afterwards and drop to the bottom of the racetrack and lead Alfred Denny high and dry. And Denny's not going to have any support. Dale Markowski in that 3 car, that black number 3, slotted into the bottom of the racetrack there. Here comes Ascent. For the first time, they're not at the outside lane, and a 3-wide situation worked out. And that was an Ascent scenario there. 3 cars for that team, helping lead the way and then abandon it. These drivers do need to be a little bit careful. A caution now still guarantees a pit stop to the end of this race. If there's a caution after lap 80, then that kind of seals the deal. Realistically, you need a caution about lap 85. to seal the deal. Brady Smith jumped out from his teammates there, tried to go 3 wide, and will fall backwards. Very unusual for Brady Smith in the 95 to make that sort of decision, because he is going to fall down the escalator and pretty quickly. Atlanta stalled out just a moment. Sawyer got to the front of the field before his teammates got to him, and has been pretty happy to sit where he's at. Wygent and Sasek trying to join him, but there's a flurry of Fords trying to prevent that from taking place. Ford versus Toyota again. A couple of Chevrolets now in the top 10 for the first time in what feels like eons. Dale Markowski and Caitlin Height. But they're just being shuffled backwards here. A lot of side drafting. You have to do it. As uncomfortable as it can be, it's not fun having to deliberately drive closer to the car around you. It is a requirement if you need to try to play the air. Outer lane looking pretty good right now. And Wygent's going to take the lead away from his teammate. Through the tri-oval we go. Wygent leads lap 70. Wygent leads again. And both the Ascent cars, Sasek and Wygent, move to the bottom of the racetrack. Alfred Denny. Support from Dustin Hall. And James Wright. Wygent tried going back to the outside lane to no avail.
Yellow flag is out.
Caution's out. And that's the reason why that's a lot of cars that were fighting to stay top 10. Susie, Thompson, among others. Looks like Blauer's involved in that. Patrick Oberstadt, David Muir Jr. It's like most, if not all, of the NFG cars involved in that. Louis Sharp, I think, has got a piece of it too. Hunter Peach involved. Alfred Denny at the lead of the race. Fifth caution of the night. Before lap 85, which means we still have green flag pit stops on the table in this race. And drivers have decisions to make. Let's take a look at what happened here. Susie was already near the back of the field. And it starts, looks like Baxter and Thompson. So let's go back a second. Grab that blimp cam again. Thompson just drifts up and tags Baxter, it looks like. And it turns Ben Roberts around. I'm kind of perplexed by that. Chopper Cam is going to give us the best look at this here. center of your screen, or a little below center of your screen, 38 to the right, 27, the green and blue car to the left. Baxter's in the middle lane. Yeah, Thompson just drifts over and just tags the 38. And Baxter turns his teammate Roberts in that situation. Nowhere for Smeal to go. Looks like that's Louis Frazier that gets a piece of it. Herrera gets a piece of it. Blowers gets a piece of it. Hunter Peach gets a piece of it. Not a pleasant place to be. All right, Boris Davisfield Jr. Life comes at you pretty quick. All right, Boris Blowers here. One more replay. Try to avoid most of that there. And the trouble about that is that no fast repairs. A lot of drivers have to deal with that damage for the rest of the race. Most of the field came down pit lane for at least fuel. 10th on down took 4 tires. But again, we are still about 12 laps shot from being able to make it on this pit stop. Again, the magic number was lap 85. These drivers right now will still need to pit by no later than lap 105. Alfred Denny and Dustin Hall be your front row. Meredith and Josh Arnold row 2. Interesting times coming up here in stage 3. We'll see how this goes. It'll be very spicy. James Wright in row 3. He's in 5th. He's alongside, looks like Zach Apperson. Blake Henderson, row 4. Should be alongside, I believe, Dale Markowski. See, that is the case. Some interesting names here as we get ready to go racing once again. 41 laps to go. Welcome back, everyone. Live picture is back and established. We lost our streaming software, complete crash out there. So we do apologize for that level of inconvenience. We do have pictures once again. Everything else can get back up and running. There we go. 85 of 116. As we try to get everything restored from the system outage we just experienced. Again, we apologize for that inconvenience, but we are back up and running here. Caitlin Height leads the way over Lily Sharp, Josh Arnold, and Bailey Thompson, your top four. We did miss one caution in this time period. There's a caution that came out about lap 80 during the old downtime experience thing. It has not changed the status quo too awful much. The conversation is still the same. There is a pit stop required to get to the end of this race. The question is, when do you take that splash and dash to get to the end? That is the magic question. Another question, how much sun time do we have left? How much daylight remains here in Talladega? The sun well behind the grandstands on the front straightaway. Pretty dark on that front straightaway. It is a race against the fuel cell and a race against the clock here in Alabama. Most of the track is in shade. You don't see a lot of sunlight until turns 3 and 4. And that's where they're at now. Thompson and Caitlin Height, your top three. Lily Sharp, top four, single file. Callie Height in the top 5 at the moment as things stand. Still a lot of latency there for the 87, though. Right now, good spot for the 87 of Callie Height. Her teammate just 2 spots ahead. It's behind Callie Height, Kevin Gibney Jr., KJ Gibney, sitting in 6th. Susie 7th, Kissenweather 8th. Fuel saving is going on. They think they can save 3 to 4 laps of fuel. Those at the front, not worried about it. Two cars out, and they're both playoff drivers. And that's Hunter Peach and Cody Pennell, who now have it all against them the next 2 races at Indianapolis and Kansas. Multiple laps down, 8 laps down, Davis Field Jr. But he's not a playoff driver. He is not in the conversation for the championship at the moment. Arnold leads the way. Fuel saving is going on further back. But can they save enough? That is the magic question. Car on the apron is Kissenweather. And he's completely faded out. Are we seeing a repeat for Kissenweather here? He is spun on his own. A lot of latency for the two. But he is rolling again after spinning out of turn 2. Oh, and that car's destroyed. That car is destroyed. And what could be a repeat for Mark Kissenweather of a season falling apart in the playoffs. 3 retirements now, all of them playoff drivers. Kissenweather, Pennell, and Peach, all out. devastating. Absolutely devastating. A lot of pressure on them now at Indianapolis and Kansas over the next 2 weeks. Josh Arnold, winner of stage 1. Out in front, lap 92 underway. 15 laps to go. I miscounted that, I think. 25 to go. Yeah, miscounted that. Just by a smidge. Not like the extra 10 laps is important for strategy or anything. Sarcasm aside, it is very important. Yes, ask those further in the back trying to save fuel. It is a single file train. Oh my goodness. A lot of fuel saving going on. And you see pit stops on board with Henderson. Cars on the pit lane. And it's the Tombstone cars in pit lane together. Dustin Hall, Blake Henderson, Alfred Denny, Bailey Thompson, Zach Apperson. They were at the back saving fuel. They couldn't make it. And they knew they couldn't make it. So fuel only stops for those 5. Spicy. Very, very spicy. Speeding penalty for Zach Apperson. His attempt to sweep at Talladega comes to an end. And most of the field comes through this time. Huge miss. That was a huge miss by one of the Ascent cars. I think that was a huge miss. Completely went into the grass there. And indeed it is. A huge miss, Olivia Pereira. Unsafe pit entry. Bailey Thompson has blown the engine. And Tombstone has gone from 5 cars in their group to 3. Thompson's race is over. Oh my goodness. Things are falling apart here. A lot of pit stops happening right now. 9 cars have stayed out so far. Arnold down to Markowski. This is going to be very interesting. 6 cars in this group. So the Tombstone team not alone in this situation. It's Hall, Henderson, and Denny. Followed by Callie Height, KJ Gibney, and it looks like potentially Bobby Flowers. Sorry, no, David Smith Jr. is in this group. Sharp in, but comes in alone. Sorry, Frazier. I believe Frazier comes in alone. Arnold leads still. Baxter, Odie, Jones, Spotsworth, your top 5. Appreciate everyone sticking around with us here throughout the technical issues we had earlier on in the stage. Because it is heating up now. 8 drivers yet to make a pit stop. Can they make it on fuel? From Josh Arnold down to James Wright. Caitlin Height, Lily Sharp, Eli Sasek, the first of those that have come down pit lane. Susie, Sawyer, Wygant, and Smith. Complete your top 15 at the moment. That is Patrick Overstack, going a lap down. That'll be temporary for both Overstapp and Brent Roberts, because remember, the leaders, the top 8, still all need to make a pit stop. These are the top 8 that have not been saving. When do you make that stop? Less than 20 to go, coming to 19 to go. All over the place right now. It's a 29-second gap all the way to Caitlin Height. But this is the huge group from Height down to Gidney. Let's get you from 9th to 21st in real-time position. This is the largest group on the racetrack at the moment. What a fall apart we have seen of the playoff drivers in this race so far today. Thompson out of this race with an engine failure. Kissenmother out of this race after a crash. Davis-Muir Jr. 8 laps down and counting. Retirements for Hunter Peach and Cody Pennell. Zach Apperson, a speeding penalty on pit lane. Patrick Overstapp, Brent Roberts, no support. Going a lap down, and their chances at winning a race are practically done. They're practically shuttered. Wild, wild stuff so far. And this race is not over yet. Coming to 17 laps to go. .100 underway. Again, your top 8 from Arnold to James Wright need to make a stop. A splash and dash for fuel is required. They are holding out, hoping for a yellow. A yellow resets the playing field and remains their only lifeline to stay in contention for the lead of this race. And what a top 8 we have battling for that chance. Josh Arnold, Ross Baxter, Richard Odie III, Byron Jones, Chad Swathworth, Zach Meredith, Dale Markowski, and James Wright. 5 of the 8 have never won an HTL Cup Series race. Arnold's won 1. Meredith's won 4. Swathworth's won 5. Baxter, Odie, Jones. None of them have finished on the podium in their Cup Series career. Odie doesn't have a top 10 in his Cup Series career. Baxter doesn't have a top 5. They are trying to defy the odds, but they need help. Gap is closing between the top 8 and everybody else. This is the second group, now being led by Lily Sharp Eli Sassick, Caitlin Height. That is a bit of a pipe bomb waiting to explode. No love lost between these three. Any of the three. But they are relying on each other right now. And speaking of the devil, it shall appear. Caitlin Height pushes Sassick out of the way into the back. Tucker Sawyer doing the teamwork thing. Keeps Sassick in the conversation. Because you can in this line of cars. The gap is coming down more and more. 24 seconds of counting. But time is running out. The top 8 hoping for a miracle. Can lightning strike for the top 8? Do we get back-to-back fuel save miracles? From Watkins Glen to Talladega. This is the second group, 9th on down, that we're looking at right now. Your leaders turn 3 and 4. Coming to 11 to go. How much fuel whispering can you do? If you're Josh Arnold, Ross Baxter, Richard Odie and company. 11 to go at the line. They are full bore, 9th on down, trying to catch up. And the difference is staggering pace-wise. 193 to 205 is the pace difference between Josh Arnold and Lily Sharp. 193 miles an hour to 205. 12-mile-an-hour difference. But if you're the top 8, you're comfortable with that. You have a 20-second buffer. Shave off a second and a half every lap. You're still okay. This is insanity. Absolute insanity. And they are shaving time off the clock. That gap is being cut down. And this is a very different scenario that we saw earlier. It doesn't matter who's leading. You're going faster than the lead path. Your objective is just get there. Going 205 miles an hour, you're not going to go a lot faster. So it doesn't matter if it's Sharp, doesn't matter if it's Height, doesn't matter if it's Susie, doesn't matter if it's Sassick. As long as you're getting that speed, go. Run. Because your only objective now, you have made your pit stop, you have made your bed and light in it. Just push. Full out sprint. Because you know the top 8 that have hedged their bets, the top 8 can't. .4, 17.3 and counting. Less than 10 laps to go. My goodness. 9 laps to go officially. But this is wild. Absolutely wild. They cannot yet see the lead pack. They cannot see them yet. 16.5 seconds is the gap. Less than half a lap. Is a 12 mile an hour per lap difference enough? Sharp laying off the yellow line. I don't think I would necessarily agree with that. You need to be on the yellow line. That's where Caitlin Hyde is at the moment. That's where Josh Susie is. The last thing you want to do is open up the battle line for a position battle and cost time. You got to exchange information and say, hey, just stay on the yellow line. Once we get there, fine. But we got to get there. Coming to 7 to go. We are all trying to save fuel in different ways. Arnold is in the worst spot imaginable because he's leading the way. He can't save. He just cannot save. You're just behind the 8 ball the entire time. And that is the worst place to be. And you see it's splintered off into a group of 3 and a group of 5. Oh, dearie, 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 dearie me. Coming to 5 laps to go. Blood is in the water. Blood is in the water. The 2 cars being caught up, that is Bryn Roberts and Patrick Overstapp. And your top 3 have made that pit stop. Arnold, Odie, and Meredith have all come in. Baxter stayed out on his own. He's got no help. Five to go, and I think the dream is dead. Top 4, they are not organized at all. They are sitting ducks right now. This is a battle for the race lead. The top 4 are sitting ducks. At the best case scenario, they get caught up and they just hang on to the track to save fuel and make it to the end. Markowski, Swatsworth, Baxter spun, coming down the pit lane. None of them can make it. 4 to go. Now it's time to tango. Next big challenge as we come to 3 to go. Who blinks first and who goes with? Josh Susie sits 3rd. His teammate leads the way. Sasek and Sawyer 4th and 5th for Ascent. Wygen in 6th. Ascent's got 3 cars in tandem right now. Smeal behind Gibney. They're already outside lane. If Ascent's gonna blink, they've got to now and they don't. Wygen can't go with them now if Sassy and Sawyer decide to go. Now the door's open again. 5 Ascent cars in a line. Brady Smith and Elias Flores also in this group. 2 to go. You cannot wait. You cannot wait this long to make a move. You got to start putting it together. The outside lane is pinched. 3 of those hit cars to the bottom. It's got to be one for all at this point. 5 miles to go. Lily Sharp, a one-time HTL Cup Series winner on the Daytona Road Course, has never won an HTL Oval. Conversely, has only won an Ovals in the AB and Champ Car World Series. We know she can. The question is, does it happen today? Sawyer's going for it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go, presented by Southern Cleaning Company. Sharp leads the bottom. Susie leads the top. Who is it going to be? Outside lane. Trying hard. Susie is trying to play the team game a little bit there. Trouble, car in the fence, hard in the outside wall. It's KJ Gibney in the fence as they come around to start finish. Who's it gonna be? It's Tucker Sawyer. Sawyer grabs his first oval win. And a photo finish to the line. Tucker Sawyer is a 2-time HTL Cup Series winner. He grabs his first career oval win, ahead of a 2-time series champion who denied him a win a week ago at Watkins Glen. He gets it back here in Talladega. Eli Sasek, much needed points in 3rd. Brady Smith, Caitlin Height, Pacey Wygent, Blake Henderson, Callie Height, Elias Flores, and Alfred Denny, your top 10. But there is your main man, Abilene's own Tucker Sawyer, victorious for the first time on an oval in any major competition. Teammates giving him congratulations. Sawyer burns it down. A great run to the finish. Under green, no overtime needed. Under regulation. And it's Tucker Sawyer that leads the way tonight. Tucker Sawyer wins over Josh Susie, Eli Sasek. We'll talk to your podium finishers here in just a moment. Brady Smith, Pacey Wygent, Caitlin Height, Blake Henderson, Callie Height, Elias Flores, and Alfred Denny, your top 10. Lily Sharp, abandoned at the very end, ends up 11th ahead of Dustin Hall. Lily Frazier, 13th ahead of Jason Scott. Bobby Blowers, Josh Arnold, Richard Odie, Zach Meredith, Chad Swatsworth, Byron Jones, James Wright in 21st, outside the top 20 for him. Not being able to save fuel to get to the end. KJ Gibney, Ross Baxter, Olivia Pereira, your top 24. 34 cars in this field. A lot of retirements further down in the field. Patrick Oberstadt, Dale Markowski, Bryn Roberts. They saw the checkered flag, as did Zach Apperson and David Smith Jr. Bailey Thompson did not. Neither did Mark Kissenweather, Hunter Peach, Cody Pinnell, and Angel Santiago did not start tonight's race here in Talladega. we have some interviews to do. So let's jump right into it with third place, Eli Sasek, who got to watch his teammate grab his first oval win in a major competition. Eli, walk us through it. A much needed race for the Ascent team, but what a hard way to go about it.
Yeah, pretty fun. Thought maybe for a second there that they would be able to make it up in the front on fuel, but was pretty confident. And then, once they started pitting, basically trying to figure out, what we need to do to win the race. And big ups to Tucker. I mean, that's a huge win, and he deserves it. He's been working pretty hard and only getting better. So it's pretty nice, and seeing all the team work together and mesh that well is really cool.
Obviously, it's all thoughts about the championship. You and Tucker have been the two that have been the safest for the team. The team overall looks strong. You had 5 cars lined up ready to go for the end of the race there, and all 5 finished in the top 5. Sawyer obviously winning the race, you third, Brady Smith fourth, one of his best finishes of the season, Pacey in sixth, and then Elias in ninth, caught up there at the very end. This team, it seems like it's been feast or famine this season. Grabbing a result like this, where it was a full team effort, what does that feel like going this late in the season?
Honestly, I mean, being able to do this with this group of people has been honestly incredible. It's a really good, group of people every night. Not every night, but every Monday night in chats and doing other things. Uh, it's quite incredible because I feel like we all work together really well and all kind of know the position that each other is in. And on top of that, I feel like we've really improved since about mid-season in just every aspect of the team. And uh, one of the things that I was really about was having 4 cars in the playoff to begin with. It's the first time we've had 4 cars in the playoff, and the first time Elias got in, which was also really cool to see because he was the first person to drive for Ascent in HTL, and uh, it's really cool to see everything grow and come together. And I think we'll have a few cars battling for a championship when that comes around. We just gotta hopefully we can get everybody into that final round of 8.
2 races to do so. Tucker's pushed his ticket into the championship 8. You're in a good spot right now in the points. Indianapolis and Kansas coming up here. Obviously, the odds are looking pretty good for the Ascent team here. Before we let you go and let you obviously debrief with your team and get ready for the next 2 races, how important they are coming up here. If there's anyone out, shout out and say thank you to. The floor is yours. Congrats on the podium and the top 10 effort all around for the 5 Ascent cars tonight.
Yeah, first off, thanks you to everybody who is racing for me and the team this season. It's always been fun racing with them. Shout out to Tucker for the win again. Everybody, Brady, Pacey, Elias, Olivia, Jason. Forgetting one. Bobby, he wasn't in the car tonight because of other circumstances, but he should be back in next week. Everybody watching, my grandparents who watch every race and support me wholeheartedly. Everybody else watching who is just a fan, and all the people who put this on and kind of allow us to come out and do this every Monday. It's a whole lot of fun.
It's also a lot of fun getting another podium here. Eli Sasek, third place tonight in Alabama. He survives the Talladega nightmare and goes on to the Brickyard with a good chance to punch his ticket to the Championship 8 at the Brickyard next Monday. Eli, congratulations.
Thank you.
And we will move along to second place, Josh Susi. Photo finish for the number 24 car tonight. The NFG crew looked strong up until the end, and then everything kind of fell apart. That being said, it seems like a little bit of fair play after winning at Watkins Glen and taking it away from Tucker. He grabs a photo finish over here tonight. But that being said, a lot less stressful of a race for the 24 camp given the race win at Watkins Glen. Walk us through your perspective.
Oh yeah, for sure. I could be a lot more aggressive and carefree, and really think of premium strategies to put our team in position to have track position. That was the name of the game tonight, and once I saw the Tombstone guys pit, I knew we had to respond. We had a great stop, came out together, was able to stay in front of them. And then it was actually the lead pack that ran long. They forced our three teams in that second pack with NFG and and Tombstone to work together. And where we had shuffled out in the lead of that, it put us in a good position. And like I said, we all had to work together to try to run down the leaders just in case they could make it. So that played into our hands as well. And then I did everything I could at the end to get one of us a win, but coming out of 4 like that with no help behind you, and I don't know what else you could do besides just absolutely dooring someone in the fence and probably wrecking yourself. I wasn't going to do that, so I did everything I could, short of get destroyed, and that's how these things usually go at plate tracks. So I'll take coming across the line clean for once.
Obviously, a very clean race. 6 cautions tonight. Only a couple major incidents, both in stage 3. Grabbed a couple of your teammates in the process. Didn't stop the team from getting a decent result, all things considered. It does set the team up for a interesting run going into the last 2 races of the round of 16. Obviously, your ticket's already punched. Lily Sharp gets a pretty decent points buffer tonight, finishing 11th here. Got wrecked in the tri-oval at the end behind y'all. Obviously, bad races for Hunter Peach, who's going to need a lot of help at the Brickyard in Kansas the next 2 weeks. What is the mindset going into that? Is it all set sail for the championship 8, or is there going to be a heightened focus on trying to help Hunter and help Lily make the championship 8 with how tight it just got with how this race went?
Well, Lily didn't make the playoffs, unfortunately. So that's out of the question. And the car didn't make it either, unfortunately, for the owners.
I think I was mistaken. The 54 and the 19. My bad.
Yes, that's okay. But for sure, we're going to give Peach the best set we can the next 2 weeks, and I'll be tinkering on that. But he's still got to go out there and do his job, show up, show out, collect max stage points, get as good a finish as possible. Same thing for Smeal on the owner side of things. I thankfully took care of my business, so I don't have to worry about that, and doesn't matter where I finish. But they got to show up prepared and do the best they can. And like I told them, it's going to be all about capitalizing on stage points. Those are going to be the key, and it's finishing as best you can. So if they're able to do that, I think confidently Peach can make it. I'm not so sure on that 54, given where it came into this race in owners. He's got a really big uphill climb. It's possible, but it's low chances without a win. So we'll see how that plays out.
2 races left to make it happen. Obviously, the 24 car already in the championship 8 with the win at Watkins Glen and keeping the momentum alive with a second place here in Talladega. Stress-free Talladega race still grabs a result. Before we let you go, and obviously let you get ready for the Brickyard in Kansas after that, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Take it away, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, as always, first and foremost, Nitro Setups. Another bad fast piece tonight. Great teamwork with NFG, and we were working with the Heights and Kevin Gibney Jr. tonight. Great teamwork all around. This coming into these races without having to worry about it's pretty nice. I didn't get home until about 15 minutes before the race. And I didn't have a care in the world as long as I registered, so it was cool. Thanks to Blake and Al for all their hard work, everyone that showed up, and as always, thank you for the broadcast and the great work you do.
Fantastic job for Josh Susi here tonight. P2 here at Talladega after winning at Watkins Glen. You got 2 more stress-resistant races coming up here at the Brickyard on Monday in Kansas the week after that. Josh, congratulations on the podium, and hopefully a little bit more of those conversations before we get to the round of 8.
I would love it. Thank you.
And we will move along to the man of the hour, his first major oval victory in his career across ABN, across HTL, and many others. The road course ringers got an oval win. Tucker Sawyer wins at Talladega. Tucker, walk us through it. Your ticket is punched to the championship 8 after heartbreak a week ago in New York. Walk us through it.
Yeah, I don't even know. I was just kind of blanked out for the last couple of laps, just pushing the crap out of Josh into the front stretch thingy. But Yeah, I was on the verge of tears actually, just because it means a lot to win an oval after like a year last year and all my time doing Champ Car and being so close and not doing it. So it just means a lot. And yeah, we had a really good strategy at the end, just hanging with that little pack we had. And yeah, just hoping that the leaders ran out. And when they did, I kind of just followed Josh where he went, and you saw it, how it played out. And
And it worked out brilliantly here. Obviously, your first oval win. A lot of developments taking place here. The 97 team has been improving on the ovals. It's not just been incremental, it's been across the board on the ovals, whether it's been short ovals, intermediates, super speedways. It's been noticeable going into this. And you talk about, you kind of blank out, you sort of put it in the back of your mind, don't think about it, don't psych yourself out of it. There's no more road courses this season. That's all behind us. It's all over from here on out. What does this do for your confidence going into the final 5 races, the last 2 races of the round of 16, where you don't have to worry about it? You are in the Championship 8, and then the Championship 8 itself, which is going to rely on a little bit more of racing like this when we get to Fontana, especially at the end of the season. What does that do for your confidence level now that you've got this first one in hand?
well, I've raced at all these tracks, so I have a bit more experience than I would have had last year in the round of 8. So I'm definitely feeling more confident. But yeah, since there's no road courses, I really am gonna have to work for it, especially at Chicagoland, Miami, and Fontana. And yeah, if I didn't win tonight, I would have, my next best chance would have been at the Brickyard, because that's probably my second best oval, if it's, or rectangle, I should say. Yeah, but my confidence is way better than it was last season.
And it shows here because you have to make some pretty daring moves to get to the race lead and take on a 2-time champion in the process. And you get ahead of him and you grab the race win in an amazing photo finish. We're going to let you celebrate a fantastic race win here at Talladega under green. No overtime, no chance for heartbreak here. Just a straight up finish to the end. Before we let you go, though, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, Tucker, the floor is yours. Congrats on your first ever oval win on a major tour. As someone who's watched you for the last couple of years, it's been a long time coming, and we're proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'd like to shout out my entire team: Eli, Brady, Pacey, Elias. I'm going to go through the list. Jason, Olivia. Just they've helped out a lot. Pace especially, who's pretty much just kind of been coaching me on what to do on these ovals, and it's kind of the reason I won today. So shout out to them. Shout out my mom and dad for watching, Jeremy on. I see you in the comments or the whatever on the Twitch stream. Shout out my friends watching, and shout out everyone at ABN behind the scenes that does the broadcasting, making it amazing.
A fantastic job for Tucker Sawyer here tonight. Race winner for the first time in an oval. He wins at Talladega and punches his ticket into the Championship 8. He gets to breeze through Indianapolis and Kansas the next 2 weeks to try to get to that championship round. Tucker, congratulations again. Well-earned race win here at Talladega, and hopefully a couple more of these conversations before the round of 8 begins.
Yep, thank you.
A fantastic job by Tucker Sawyer here tonight. Well-earned result for him. We are going to go ahead and grab your full results one more time for those that missed it earlier due to an unfortunate ad break there on Twitch. Here is your results. Tucker Sawyer, Josh Susi, Eli Sasek, Brady Smith, your top 4. Pacey Wygant, top 5. A good run of form for Ascent. 4 of those cars in the top 5 for Ascent. All 5 Toyotas. Caitlin Height, first Chevrolet in 6th. Blake Henderson, the first Ford in 7th. Callie Height, Elias Flores, and Alfred Denny round out your top 10 here in Talladega. Great runs for all of them. Callie Height especially spun twice in this race. Recovered both times to grab a top 10 finish. Feels like a long time coming for her, especially given that she wasn't supposed to be here for these races. Done a great job. Lily Sharp and Dustin Hall involved in the melee at the end of the race. Unfortunately, ends up out of the top 10. Both of them, Lily Frazier, Jason Scott, Bobby Blowers, Josh Arnold, Richard Odie, finishing outside the top 10 here. Richard Odie, one of his better performances in general there in the top 17. Couldn't make the fuel save last at the end, but a great run of form. His most time earned in the top 10 in the Cup Series tonight. Well earned for the 78 crew. Something to hang his hat on here heading into the Brickyard next Monday. Zach Meredith, Chad Swatsworth, and Byron Jones round out your top 20 here in Talladega. James Wright, KJ Gibney, Ross Baxter, Olivia Pereira round out your top 24. All of them saw the checkered flag. Not everyone on this page did. Patrick Oberstadt, Dale Markowski, and Bryn Roberts did. Zach Apperson did as well. So did Davis Muir Jr. 30th on down did not. Bailey Thompson out. Mark Kissenmother out. Hunter Peach out. Cody Pinnell out. All four of them playoff drivers. That is a huge hit to them with 2 races to go, and both those races, Indianapolis and Kansas, very difficult. Angel Santiago, a technical failure early on, prevented him from taking the start of this race. Hopefully we get to see him again at the Brickyard in 7 days' time. We talked about it before. We'll talk about it again. The Brickyard next Monday, 100 laps at the Brickyard at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Blink Designs 400 after that, February 2nd, the last race in the round of 16 at Kansas. Then we head to Chicago on February 9th. Then we're off the day after the Super Bowl. So don't expect us to be live and hungover after the Super Bowl, depending on who's playing. And then we go to Homestead, Miami for the Florida 400, the Championship 8 on February 23rd. And then beginning of March 2nd is when we'll have the season finale here as season 7 at California Speedway in Fontana. We're glad you joined us here tonight for the Odie Break 500. Appreciate Richard Odie supporting the series here in a major way. Most of our racing seasons not far away from beginning again. February will be a very busy month for us as ABN Champ Car kicks back up, as ARC's High Octane kicks back up, and the Winsdale Cup Series kicking back up in early March. We hope to see you for all of it. On behalf of everyone here for HTL, for ABN, through the month of January, thank you so much for supporting us for 5+ years and counting. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next week at the Brickyard. So long, everybody.